What's up, YouTube? So in this episode, Stephen A. Smith and Jalen Rose are going to be going over Anthony Davis and how he played last night. So the whole ordeal in the NBA at this point in time is the whole Anthony Davis trade. Is he going to go to the Lakers? Is he going to go to Boston? Is he going to go to New York? Who's he going to play with? That's the hoopla and ordeal in the NBA right now. So let's see what they have to say about it.
All right, okay, we've been talking all day about AD and the fact that obviously he didn't make it to the Lakers. So what happens now? If you had any control over the situation, would you play Anthony Davis?
Yes, I would. Yes, I would. Because, I think differently than a lot of people might think in today's day and age. Last time I checked, he's still getting paid.
Exactly, Stephen A. He's getting paid. If he's healthy, he can play, then play him. He's being paid, so go ahead and play him. Now, I can see if the head coach says don't play or, the owners say don't play him. That's another deal. But if he's healthy, you got to play him. And another thing is that could possibly drop or raise some of his stock. Because if he's out there and he's balling out of control, that the Pelicans could possibly ask for more. Because look at his value. Look what all he's done. But on the other hand, if he gets hurt, I can see, his stock can drop. Either way you want to look at it. But let's continue on to see what Stephen A. Smith has to say.
Last time I checked, there are plenty of teams that go out on the court knowing that there's no chance of them making the playoffs pretty early in the season. You think the Knicks think they're going to the playoffs? You think the Chicago Bulls think they're going to the playoffs, along with a plethora of other teams? So why bother playing?
So what that's called, Stephen A. and everybody else, that's called playing for pride. If you start the season now and you are the worst team in the league, you still play. You still play your heart out. You go hard. Even if you win a game or a game behind to be making the playoffs, you still play for pride. You play hard no matter what. Like I said, Michael Jordan knows that there's at least one person in that stand that came there to see him play. So he played hard every single game, every single play. Because like I said, he knows there's one person in the stand that came to see Michael Jordan. What's Michael Jordan all about? What's the hoopla about this Michael Jordan? That's why he played hard every single night. So when these players take nights off, they take days off because just to rest. That doesn't fly with me. I know I'm nobody, but if you're healthy, you should be playing. I think there's actually some seasons where Michael Jordan went back-to-back and played all the games. A couple players play all the games. If you're not hurt, you are definitely going to be playing. So to have that, you're going to be playing. Let's just carry on.
Why? Because the fans show up to be entertained. You're one of the top 5 players in the world. You're getting paid $25 million this year. You don't sit a man down who is healthy and can go out there and perform and put on a show just because he's not going to be a part of your future. As Red Holtzman, a former coach of the champion New York Knicks, did in the 1970s, he said, quote, "Excuse me, they're your guys until they're not." And that's how I think it should be viewed, and that's how I think it should be looked upon.
Okay, I agree with you. I think he should play. I'm always like, what is he going to do if he's not playing?
I don't think he should play.
Well,
I think he needs to make sure that he needs to stay healthy.
Okay, well, let me ask you this question. Should he be paid?
Yes.
Absolutely.
So he should be paid but not playing. That's what you're saying.
Yes,
So in other words, even though he's not playing.
Because it's a business.
Again, well, if it's a business, what about the business side of things in terms of you're a Pelicans fan, you're paying your hard-earned money to go to the game to watch a superstar talent perform. There's plenty of times. I remember in the earlier part of Michael Jordan's career, there was no way in hell that the Bulls were going to do anything. A matter of fact, I remember Jerry Krause insisting upon sitting Michael Jordan down. Now, obviously, the Michael Jordan and that particular Bulls team made the playoffs, and then they were bounced out by the Boston Celtics. But that was when Larry Bird basically called Michael Jordan God, because that's how phenomenal Michael Jordan was. Well, they knew they had no chance of winning, but Michael Jordan insisted on coming back from his injury and playing and not being on that bench. Why? Because you want to set the tone and establish a culture that's associated with you.
Exactly. You want to play for pride. No matter what happens, you go hard all the time. You play for pride. You don't sit it out.
And that's what we're talking about here when we're talking about professionalism and we're talking about greatness. So I applaud Anthony Davis for wanting to stay and wanting to play. And I think that the Pelicans are doing the right thing by letting him play.
I think he's
I don't really give him applause for playing because that's what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be playing. They're paying you. You're not hurt, so you're supposed to play. So you don't get applause for that. There's no applause for that. No matter what's going on, if you might be traded, you might not. You still have to be professional and play. All right? That's what it boils down to. It's a business, nothing personal, but you can be out of here the next day. Or you can stay here. But regardless, you're being paid, so you better play hard. And that's just what I think. But let's keep on going.
Playing, but for all different reasons than you said.
Okay.
They're putting him out there because they have to. It'll look terrible for the league to sit Anthony Davis for 30-plus games. We're not going to act like other teams aren't currently tanking and resting and sitting their best players and their usage is down. That's happening all across the league. But for this trade to be out there so much for public consumption, and then it does not take place, you can't now sit him for competitive balance. You have 29 other teams in the league calling the NBA office complaining about how that's going down. So also, here's the other thing. You can actually increase his value. Like, he is a terrific player.
Yeah.
He could go out here and have some amazing nights, put on a show.
Now, I don't quite agree with Jalen with that. So I don't think the Pelicans are not playing him because of anything to do with what other teams are saying or how it looks in the NBA or anything like that. I think they're playing him because basic reasons. You know, you're being paid, you're still on the team, you're healthy, you can play, so they're playing him. If anything, it'll be a small percentage of what Jalen Rose is saying, but I really don't think it's because of what Pelicans think, what other people think of them. All right, let's carry on.
That now creates a market for other.
I want to ask Jalen, because I'm not debating you on this. I really want to know. Well, I disagree. I'm saying in terms of Anthony Davis, I definitely feel that he should be playing. If he's healthy, he should be playing. It's the one thing for teams to sit players out a game here or there, but to literally bench a guy for the last 30-plus games just because you're intending to trade him this summer, I think it's criminal to the fan base. Having said all of that, I'll stay in the same.
So Stephen A was right. I don't know if I said this already, but if you're healthy, you should be playing. This whole thing that coaches are doing now are sitting healthy players, like in the middle of the season, having healthy players take a night or two off. Nah, that doesn't fly. I'm more of an old school basketball guy. You should be playing every single game if you're healthy. Now, I know it's strategic to have your best players probably sit down a game or two throughout the season because it's a long season. But no. I'm an old school guy. If you're healthy, you're going to be playing out there. All right. There's none of this sitting down and resting while everybody else carries your weight and all that. I just don't see that. If you're healthy, you should be playing. Michael Jordan and during his era, everybody played. And that was when you could really get beat up. So I don't want to hear any of this player taking a night or two off. All right. Carry on.
But slightly different, asking you this question, Jalen. The other day, there was a nationally televised game between the San Antonio Spurs and the Golden State Warriors. Greg Popovich, San Antonio Spurs, decides to sit down DeMar DeRozan and sit down LaMarcus Aldridge, if I remember correctly. Do you have any issue with that whatsoever?
I always had a problem with healthy players resting.
Right.
Always. Kawhi Leonard didn't play last night. That's my point. Like, it happens throughout the league. But it would be too flagrant to just flat out say Anthony Davis is sitting for 30 straight games. That now becomes something that's happening.
But he said he wants to leave. He says he wants to go somewhere else, and he's put that out there. This is a business. It's better for the Pelicans if they keep him healthy and they play their other guys.
But first of all, he's a top 5 player in the world, unless it's.
Yeah, for one thing, he is a top 5 player, like Stephen A is about to say. But on the other hand, no matter what, he should still be playing. I don't care if he said he wants to go someplace else or he wants to be traded to this team or that team. It doesn't matter. You're still under contract with us, so you're going to finish it out. You're going to finish out your contract. You're being paid. Now, if we reversed, it'd be like, look, you guys going to pay me my money, and I'll play for you guys. You can't just say, oh, well, we're not going to pay you, even though teams – it's a whole odd trading ordeal in the NBA and just all of sports, free agency and all this. Everything gets crazy. But at face value, Anthony Davis is being paid. He's healthy, so he should play, no matter if he wants to leave or not. All right, let's keep going.
a career-ending injury, his stock is not going to diminish. That's number one. Number two, he's still getting paid, okay? And number three, when you look at it from this perspective, ask yourself this question. If Anthony Davis, just because he says that he wants to go somewhere else, did he ever say he didn't want to play? Never.
No, I get it that he wants to play.
By the way, watching Anthony Davis, a disinterested Anthony Davis, perform in New Orleans is better than watching 90% of the players in the league play.
Like he should go play at the Y.
And interested.
One word. Can you do it? Best team in the East right now.
Milwaukee.
That's not what anyone else said.
That's not what he said.
We're going to debate this.
Yeah, not now, though.
Not right now.